Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence for Just Ask Podcast Live. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. Now, as the season is starting to change, so are we. Okay, what that means is that, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? Every quarter of the season, there's things that we need to be made aware of. And let me just say this, because in Michigan alone, we are the 4 seasons, every season holds a particular level of jobs or home repairs or environmental concerns, things like that. So we always try to make sure that we give you opportunity to know what it is that's going on in that season. If not, what's going to happen in the following season. So me being a retired state worker, was privy to know and learn that in our 4 seasons we do things differently. We do, all government offices do things uniquely. But what I'm getting at is that, like right about now, it's spring summer. It's job season, okay? But everyone who has a college kid, a high school kid, hats off to the graduations, the graduates and the families. But what happens is every year around the same time, there's an overabundance of trying to get jobs for your child. And it's like, man, how did I miss out on that one? Or wow, we should have applied a long time ago. True that. Okay, so let me say this. If you are a parent or if you're a young person seeking employment, always remember in the 4 seasons in Michigan in particular, if you're applying for what they call a spring summer job or a summer job, you always start in February. They say, why February? Because February is the preparation season. Right after the new year is the preparation season for the entertainment venues, lawn and garden venues, um, you know, uh, pop-up restaurants, and things of that nature. So a lot of times when you're looking for a job, ladies and gentlemen, you don't wait till the same month to apply for your child to have that summer job. If it's something in the corporate level, like you want your kid to work for a government agency and this and that, yeah, same thing. You can call all our government agencies and say, when there's the application process for college kids, and they'll tell you. And usually that happens around spring break or something like that, but it's always like February, March. Get your child lined up for employment. If the child is on his or her own looking for employment, same thing. Always know that there's a certain time for you to apply for jobs of your choice. Now, some jobs are all year round, true of that, but in particular, all these spring, summer venues, whether you want to be a lifeguard, whether you want to work at the zoo, work in concessions, or work with animals, something like the Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen's now always 20 is all year long. Some of them are. But say like you want to work for the summer, okay? Or you want to work in horticulture, which is, the plants and working with the groundskeepers and stuff like that. You don't wait till the very time to do it. You apply for it a month in advance. And if you're not sure, then you always call those companies asking when is their hiring season. All right. All right. So I just wanted to say that because I myself, for many years, worked in employment services for the state of Michigan. I know. So I'm not bragging, but I just still know the program in itself, what seasons is hiring for what we do. And I'm gonna tell you another example too. Say like it's winter. Okay. The fall seasons, kids going back to school, people still looking for jobs. Well, those jobs that the young folks have left to go back to school, they're open. So when do you apply, ladies and gentlemen? August and September. Okay. Always apply August to September. And then for those who are like, okay, I want to work for the holiday, you got to know what month you're going to apply in the holiday. You don't wait till December to apply for a job around Christmas time. You don't wait till November. You do that like what? September or October. So always know that there's a reason for why we always say apply early for anything, and never put on your application a particular date. You can always say open or available, or ASAP, whatever. But if you put a date on there and they say, oh, they filled this application out in June. Then by the time that job comes around in September, they're like, oh, that person's probably already working. So I just wanted to give you a little feedback, and the same thing for weatherization programs, a home heating tax credit programs that you say I need some assistance in. Always call these agencies and find out in advance when these agencies will have funding or when these agencies are taking application, and that will make it better for you. So those of you who miss the weatherization program that the famous DTE provides, all these home repairs and stuff like that, if you miss the window, know that you can call them and scheduled to be put on their list. Ask them when will they have their open call for, signing up again. And even if you miss this quarter right here, they may have something this fall, or they may have a list that goes around to the next year. Okay. So, if you're trying to get that weatherization program where you get your windows caulked or you get the installation put in your home, lighting fixtures, stuff like that, DTE and all of those programs offer some good opportunities, but you don't want to get left out. So you got to know when to call. And even if you are not a computer savvy person, go to your neighborhood services and find out from your neighborhood services what is it that time of the year that you can apply for these home weatherization programs and things like that. All right. All right. So I just wanted to run that by you right quick because this is what Marsha's recap day. And on that note, I want to talk about some previous guests that I had come to the studio or we did a podcast with that I think that you should be reminded of so that if you miss this opportunity, you can still reach out to them or receive some of the resources that they offer and you won't, be left out. So normally, but I got to start with something, to me, this is going to be juicy, okay, which was the fifth annual Health and Fun Fair, the Just As fifth annual Health and Fun Fair, ladies and gentlemen. We're that time again that we're getting ready to get geared up. Hopefully, you guys will be joining us on October 2nd, which is the first Thursday in October 2025 at the Samaritan Center Wellness Building. Okay, so we want to show some love on the east side and let the and embrace the residents on the east side to receive some of the wonderful supportive help that we provide every year. Okay, so yeah, I know people say, well, where I thought y'all was at the Eastern Market. We thought we was too, but we're going to this year be at the Samaritan Center Wellness Building. Free food, free music, dancing. City officials will be there. You'll be there, I hope. Free chair massage. Do you know what? This year we're gonna have chair massage and haircuts and manicures for those who need them. Like we did it at the men's health fair. They had haircuts there. Dorsey's cosmetology school will be joining us again. They are so nice. I mean, they brought 10 young men and women out and they did haircuts and manicures. Now, come on, somebody need a manicure, okay? I can't promise a pedicure, but I can promise you a manicure. So it's a student, but that student is willing to make your hands look good or give you a haircut and make you look good, something, okay? And then our chair massage group, they're going to be there. Our chiropractors will be there. Our vision care people will be there. Our oral health people will be there. And my co-sponsors, Bridging Communities, who always be there. We will be there together putting on this wonderful, elaborate affair. So if you're interested in volunteering or being a vendor, okay, or a sponsor, give me a call, 1-800-323-5336, 1-800-323-5336, or you can go online to the justastalkshow.org/funfair and register for anything, the vendors, the sponsors, and the volunteers. I had to get that all out because I'm going to show that 2 or 3 times before we get through. But we have a good time every year and it is so exciting. It's steady growing. It's getting bigger and bigger. That's a good thing. Okay, so I want to start to move it around some so that those residents who may be experiencing difficulty getting around. There's some transportation programs that will bring you to an event so that you can have a fun day, a good day. And this is a fall event. Would you believe that? Okay, health fairs happen all year long, but we're a fall event with lightheartedness fun. So we have carnival theme where you can eat popcorn and get your face painted or dance around, get some balloon tricks, stuff like that. spend some games on the table and win some prizes, stuff like that. That's fun. And you know what? I don't care how old you get. You like winning things, okay? All right, so that was for the Fifth annual Just Ask Foundation and co-sponsors Bridging Communities fifth annual Health and Fun Fair at the Samaritan Wellness Center on the east side. And that's, most people know the address is 5555, but this building is 5405. Okay, so let me double check that. Did I say that right? Yeah. Oh, 5405. Yeah, so 5405, which is on the same grounds. It's just a building away. Okay. All right. So my first flyer that I want to talk about is the lovely Kathy M. Garrett. Came to see me in the studio a couple of weeks ago. Oh, it was longer than that. But anyhow, Kathy stopped by the studio to share with us some of the wonderful services that the Wayne County Clerk's office provide. And I'm telling you, I mean, not only was she hilarious, but I appreciate the idea that she gave us so much information about what goes on in the Wayne County Clerk's office, so that it's not just death and birth certificates, it's not just marriage license. And do you know that you can get married, have a marriage ceremony at the clerk's office now? Really? Okay, so you can get your license and get married in the same day. Okay, so those who have cold feet, but you know this is what you're going to do, go on down to the Wayne County Clerk's office and tell them it's my turn. I'm ready to get married. Okay, let's get this done for somebody chicken out. All right. So with that being said, what I enjoyed about learning was about the criminal justice center, in the criminal court system, where you have to go to the clerk's office first to get your motion. I didn't know anything about that, and I know you didn't either. So, look at that and see that you can either call them or email them and ask them a question or get an appointment to go in there. So, if you have a, court issue or something that you have to address, that's where it's taken care of. If you're trying to get your PPO process, personal protection, okay, order, you can get that process there. Election services, and I didn't know that either. That when you're trying to become an elected official, that your business starts with them, so that they can make sure that everything's correct for you wanting to apply to become a elected official. Really? Okay, so that call center does a whole lot of stuff. Okay, and then they have another one too. So I didn't want to leave this out, but Vital Check. Some people don't feel like talking to nobody. Okay, that's your choice. But Vital Check will back you up if you're out of town or something and can't get around to going to the clerk's office or make an appointment. You can go online to Vital Check. Now, what I like about Vital Check is that you pay online with the credit card and get a copy of your uh, birth certificate or death certificate, which you may need, and it's got the seal on it. Now, if you think you can order something without a seal, that means it's not illegal. But if you get something with the seal, it's legal. All right. So Vital Check is a part of the Wayne County Clerk's office as well. They give you that information in case you want to go online without speaking to anybody and collecting your information. That's not a bad idea. Okay, because some people don't want to talk to people, or some people are unable to speak, and some people may be of different languages and need to be able to get their information in without going through a whole lot of changes. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. Me, as a hearing impaired person, I do struggle. And it doesn't sound like I do, but I do have a hard time sometimes hearing on the phone, and I'm just like, I don't feel like that today. So I will go online and get some paperwork done or whatever if I have to. But if I can, just speak to somebody and hear them clearly, I'm gonna do that. I prefer to talk to people. I really do. I'm not that computer savvy, but I do what I do because I know that's where we are in life now. We're at that point where, you know, people say you got to have a phone for this and a phone for that, and you a QR code for this and a QR code for that. Well, everybody's not QR code material and everybody's not phone savvy. So what do? We have to pick up the telephone and be able to speak to people and get our business taken care of. So another thing too, there are some agencies that we are interviewing to make sure that if you're not able to get to their office, do they have a way that they can still communicate with you by way of sending out a representative or scheduling your appointments or returning your call. And some agencies, not many, but some of them do Zoom also. Most of the time, Zooms are done by medical staff, but you can get your information the best way you can to take care of yourself and take care of your loved ones. And that's what Just Ask is all about, ladies and gentlemen. We try to make sure that you know about what's going on out here and make it easier on you to get that information. I grew up that way thinking, you know what, why is it so difficult to find stuff? Why do we have to jump through hoops? We don't really have to. But if you're not um, in position to just pick up the phone and dial a number and you need some help, whether it's a plumber or whether it's, taxes or something like that, you get nervous. You get nervous and you get upset because you're not sure. So, Just Ask was designed with you in mind, like a person like myself. Why do I have to be nervous about, finding out what I need when I should be able to pick up the phone and just, what did I say? Just ask. I did say that. Okay. Had to tell you that one too. All right. So, going on to another one. So we had oh, Roy McCalister. Mr. Roy McCalister, who is running for what's it, District 2? Okay, yep, District 2. Mr. McCalister stopped by, or we had a podcast with him not too long ago, and they're having a mental health seminar on Saturday, June 14th. Okay, now I'm going to stop by there. Okay, so if you know of a family member or a friend who is having some difficulties, you might want to stop by this location and sign up and see what services they are providing. Okay, and you see that big word down there, free event, lunch will be served. Okay, people will go places where the word free and eat, it goes together. So if that's part of your plan, that's okay, but we want to make sure that you see the therapy sessions, the advisors, the legal issues, the law enforcement, the host of What's Up, What Up Doe podcast. They'll all be there, and you get a chance to ask them questions. So you see the QR code. Those of you who are QR code savvy, go ahead and click on that QR code, and make sure that you sign up or register for the event. So it's mental health is our daily transition with life. Roy McCalister Jr. And I commend him for doing this because each year we struggle through families trying to find someone or some type of supportive system services, whether you are a veteran or not. These programs are designed with you in mind, and it is only to your advantage to utilize these events and get some resources. And so that's what like I said, everybody that you see or that I talk to, I always know that they got something that you can use. All right, so let's support this event by showing up, not just for the free lunch, but for the resources for those of you who have family members or friends who are suffering with some sort of mental illness and need some support, whether it's for them or someone else in their life. All right, okay, and that's important. The reason I say that is that we look at the VA and say, well, they handle the veterans. They handle the veterans, true enough, but they also have to have extension. So everything needs extension. We got the 988 number that you're supposed to be able to call and say, hey, there's a crisis going on. Well, maybe you don't want to call the 988 number. So if you don't call the 988 number, what you should do is try to attend some of these events and then learn some things that you could use for someone close to you. All right, so that's important. I believe that we should try that. Now we're gonna go to the next one. Who's that? Oh, the treasure. You know what? I can't tell you guys how often the treasure, Eric Sabree, comes to see us, but the treasure comes to the studio, does podcasts with us, everything. Why? Because he wants to get the word out on how important it is for you to have a payment plan so that you don't fall through the cracks and lose your home. I tell you, I enjoy him coming. He give me a call, Marsha, I need to stop by the studio or come by and do a podcast with you so we could educate the viewers about the payment plans offers that we have on the table so that they can continue living in their wonderful homes. Now, one of the biggest concerns they talk about that he talks about all the time is those of you who are living in homes that were from your deceased family members. It could be your parents, siblings, or whatever. And you just live in there and you're like, well, I ain't changed over in my name, but I'm going to stay here. But you can't do any home repairs. You can't take out any loans or anything because you're afraid that they're going to take the house from you or the taxes is too high. Well, you need to check that out because if the house goes to probate for whatever reason, some other family member come along and say, well, we're going to throw this in the probate, you in a world of trouble. Why don't you just go ahead and call You see that magic number down there? They got the 313-224-5990. You can call and ask the treasurer for the assistance with the probate and see if they can give you some guidance. And then they have a list of other contact numbers too. And I didn't post all that, but I want you to know that the treasurer's office is always trying to help you maintain living in your home, or if you are a uh, family member living in a deceased member's home, what you can do to get that home over into your name so that you can be the responsible parties. Now, some of you are saying, well, it's a high water bill back there, it's a high utility bill. Well, you can get that addressed, during the time that you're trying to make the transition to put this house in your name. All I want to do is make sure that you don't lose the house due to the lack of, you don't know. If you don't know, you don't know. But the treasurer's office is giving you a chance to learn the different payment methods so that you can be okay with taking over that family member's home. And then they got the first responders programs, our EMTs, our EMSs, and our firemen, policemen, and all that, and veterans, who they have a program for them too. Pay as you go. All right. So a lot of that, ladies and gentlemen, I must say, is a blessing to have. And I leave these flyers up here a little longer because you might be trying to capture that QR code, or you're trying to capture that number or that website. And if you notice that they're in 400 Monroe, so they're right above Fishbones. For those that, where you at on 400 on Monroe Street? Above Fishbones. Okay, the offices is well put together. It's almost like a one-stop shop in there now. All right, so Kathy Garrett's office and Wayne County Clerk's office is on one floor, the treasurer's office on another floor, and I think is the D's office in there too. I think it is. So we're going to be doing a show with the director from Lands and Deeds shortly, and I'm looking forward to that so that you guys can be educated. Now, keep in mind, when you see one of these shows says, "What did your city officials do?" County officials and all that, we're going to be going from city to city to get someone to come and tell us about what goes on uniquely in that city. I didn't know that all of them don't do the same thing. I'm thinking that, there's some stuff across the board. Nope. So found out that some offices do something different from others. Some counties do something different from other counties. And so we want to embrace all that for all the counties to represent themselves and let their residents of their counties know what resources that are available. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a plus. I think that's the actual plus, that you can actually find out from your officials what goes on in Wayne County, Oakland County, Macomb County, Washington County, a whole bunch of counties. Okay. And if they can't come in and do a sit down show, it's okay if they do a podcast, because why? They're working hard trying to make sure that they give you the resources that you need and the tools. And so we want to make sure that we cover that with all these various counties. See, that's how cool we are, okay? That's how cool. So, I always tell you, if you have a show idea for me, 1-800-323-5336, Marsha at justastalkshow.org. You can always email me. You can always call me. And I do get a lot of phone calls. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for calling. When you call and ask me a question about a service or something that you're not quite sure about, I love answering those questions, especially when I know the answer. A lady called me the other day. She said, "I want to ask you a question." She said somebody called her and said, about going to get a green dot card and paying a fee, and then they'll send her some money back. This was something with Social Security. I'm like, no. Social Security would not tell you to pay anything, okay? So anytime you have a senior family member that is mostly independent, as a young person, check with your senior family members on a daily basis and ask them what's going on, or who called you today, or did you get any strange calls today, and let them tell you before they actually sign the house away, okay, or give the car away, stuff like that. So sometimes you need to ask. But the lady was nice enough to call me and ask me a question, and I said nope. I said, no, these government agencies, they don't call like that, and if they do call, they have to give out so much information that you know if it was a city, state, or federal office that's calling. But most time, federal offices don't call. Okay, everybody sends letters. So some of us locally, depending on what agency it is, you will get a phone call. And that might be a DHS, which Department of Human Services type. Every now and then, if you got an open claim with Social Security, the Social Security representative may call you, but they have to verify so much stuff that you be like, I'll call back and make sure you are you. All right. So with that being said, is that you have to keep in mind that every time you are in need of services, if your parents are aging and you're an adult child, just talk to them. Just ask them what's going on today and how's it going. And, and don't be yelling and screaming, Mommy, you should have never did that. You're going to get old, okay? So we want to smooth the pavement. We don't want to frighten our parents and make them feel like they're children and they can't answer a phone call or can't answer a question. But just talk to them in the calm voice that you normally have when you talk to your children or your clients, and make sure that your parents or loved ones' business affairs is okay and that they're not, being intimidated by somebody trying to get them to sign something, give away something, and stuff like that. And so I say that because my parents spoke for themselves as long as they could. And when they couldn't, that's when I stepped in the plate and said, what do you want me to do and what do you want me to say? So I just want to educate the rest of us. Let's do the same thing the same way without really hurting anybody's feelings. So before I close off, once again, I got to tell you, don't forget to join us on, Thursday, October 2nd, 2025, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And I'm looking for volunteers. I'm looking for vendors. I'm looking for sponsors, mostly. But I'm looking, so I hope that you all will consider joining us and having a wonderful time and bring your loved ones out. Our seniors, our disabled population, and our caregivers is who we support. So let's let our individuals have a wonderful and blessed day to enjoy themselves in the best way we know how, with laughter, food, and fun. Okay, you can't get no better than that. All right, so that's how we're doing it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, you know what? I'm not going to entertain you with any more of my rhetoric, as I would say.
If you store your guns properly,
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
And I won't have to tell my kids, this isn't a drill.
Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Always lock it up.
I try to keep up with what these young people is doing and knowing.
I was at work and I just got a text from a number that I didn't know.
I sent him a text. He texts me back and say, "Who dis?" And I just thought that was the funniest thing.
The next few weeks, she just made fun of me, like would answer the door and say, "Who dis?"
Who dis?
Drop off a warm meal and get more than you expect. Volunteer at americaletsdolunch.org.
America, let's do lunch. This isn't a workout video. It's about how LLS has helped blood cancer patients like me thrive and how your donation can help countless others. Please give today at LLS.org.
I had a good time with you today. I hope that all those resources that you saw were good and you will continue to tune in to Just Ask. Remember, we're on PBS Channel 56 every Wednesday morning. Several cable stations, YouTube, Facebook, our website, and Instagram. You can catch me anytime and you can call me anytime. So what do I always say? And you know what I'm going to say. I'm your host, Marsha Florence for Just Ask. And if you have a question about a person with a disability or just a general question, don't be afraid to ask. Just ask. I'm your host. See you next time.